Which one should you pick? The cheapest MacBook, the MacBook Neo, or the cheapest iPad? Let's talk about it. When choosing between these two devices, you actually need to think for what you are using it. Because grabbing a MacBook is totally different than grabbing an iPad. If you are a casual user that just want to watch some TV shows, browse the web, see your photos, social media even, YouTube, then grabbing an iPad is your best bet. And these cheap iPads for like $300 are amazing. This gives you iPadOS, integration with the Apple ecosystem, and so much more. But if you want a device that you actually can use it for work, type documents, write documents, use AI tasks, and actually be more productive, a MacBook Neo would be more of your choice. So it's tough. Whenever choosing between a Mac and an iPad, I've done this video several times, MacBook Pro versus iPad Pro. It's a tough choice, but now with these two devices is a bit different. The cheapest iPad, it's kind of like a very naked experience. It has the cheapest display possible. It's a non-laminated LCD display. It's a fully aluminum design with a very cheap single camera. It has USB-C and a speaker, but it costs like $300. So you cannot ask that much out of it. I think it has the A16 or the A17 chip currently. It's a base model Apple chip. It's not that fast. You can play games, social media, watch TV shows, use YouTube, pretty much fine. And that's actually the main goal out of this iPad. While the MacBook Neo, this device has the A18 Pro chip, so it's much faster, much more efficient, and gives you much better performance. It's super bursty. You can use macOS. It has 8 GB of RAM, while this one I think has 4, which means you can't have as many apps open at the same time. The MacBook Neo has the ability to do multitasking, so several tasks at the same time. You can use AI, you can be browsing the web via Chrome, you can be writing a document on Microsoft Word, creating a PowerPoint, or even using Excel, all at the same time, and then using your email. The different apps, having access to macOS changes a lot in terms of productivity. So yes, choosing between these two devices right off the gate is more like choosing between two softwares and not the hardware side. Although the MacBook Neo for like $600, $499 if you are a student watching this video, then gives you much more, because it has a full-fat macOS experience, which is a fully spec'd out computer OS, gives you access to everything, while the cheapest iPad doesn't. Gives you a bare-bone experience of iPadOS. It's not even full-fat iPadOS like the iPad Pros have. No, this is the basic model, almost iOS-like big screen experience. So right off the gate, in this first filter, if you decide that you really want a full-fat computer, the MacBook Neo is definitely your best bet. Did you guys buy a MacBook Neo? And is it your first Mac? If so, and especially if you are a student, I'm going to show you a really cool tool from PDNob, TennoShare. Thanks guys for sponsoring today's video. And it's going to revolutionize the way you work on your PDFs. Let's go. First off, editing. You're not just stuck reading PDFs anymore. I literally went in, added text, dropped in a GIF, moved things around, and it felt more like editing a Word document than a PDF. Then, one feature that generally surprised me, OCR. If you haven't scanned documents or even handwritten notes, PDNob can actually recognize all of that and turn it into fully editable text. After that, I took multiple PDFs and just merged them everything in one file in a couple of seconds. Super clean, super simple. And once I had everything together, I converted the whole thing into a Word document. And the best part is, you get to keep all of your notes, add-ons, photos, and GIFs on a PDF. But the craziest part is the AI PDF feature. It actually integrates with tools like ChatGPT 4 and DeepSeek, so you can just ask it to summarize your document, and boom, instant summary, key points, everything broken down for you. Thanks PDNob for sponsoring today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this tip and you check them out. First link in the description down below. As for portability and the rest of the hardware, both devices are actually built really similar, using the same aluminum. At least they feel the same in the hand. But the MacBook Neo has so much more. It has a keyboard and a mouse indented into it. It has the Magic Keyboard, the best keyboard Apple makes. It has the trackpad. This is awesome. This trackpad is awesome. Although it clicks, it's super, super well made, super well constructed. It goes deep, yes, but it's so satisfying whenever it makes a noise. There's no flex on the aluminum body, none, and that's really good for the device. This cheap, it has the Touch ID, while this one also has the Touch ID, but both are really well built. And it has a 13-inch LCD display that is laminated, while the display here, it is not. I would say that the competitor closer to the MacBook Neo would be the iPad Air. So a much better device, much better built device. But I think that the iPad Air sits in a weird place where it competes with the iPad Pro and competes with the iPad cheap, the iPad 10th or 11th generation. So I would say that currently the MacBook Neo is the best option out of the three. If you love the iPad and you have $600 to spend, the iPad Air is also a good choice. But in today's video, we are only comparing both cheapest options from both lineups, MacBooks and iPads. And obviously, the speakers on the Macs are better than the speakers on the iPad. So if you love multimedia experiences, but you also want to work on your device, grabbing the Mac is also a great option. For video calls, the MacBook Neo has a front-facing camera on the display. It's 1080p front-facing camera, good for Zoom calls, good for FaceTime calls, while the iPad also has one at the same place. So the experience would be the same, no differences here. Both are 1080p, both are good quality. I would say they are pretty much the same camera. So they compete, they share the same hardware, they compete in different areas, but I think they serve different markets. The iPad cheapest generation is for cheap purposes, like watching YouTube, browsing the web, kids playing games. That's it. While this one is a bit more serious, focuses more on work. And that's also visible on the I/O that you have available. The MacBook Neo has 2 USB-C ports, while the iPad cheap generation, I call it cheap generation because I don't know what generation it is currently on, it has only one. You can buy the external keyboard and then, okay, have a trackpad, have a keyboard, and then have the iPad, but then it will be that more expensive, around $500 currently. So I would buy the MacBook Neo. I think this is a black and white comparison. I think that if you have the money, $200 more on these cheap devices makes a big difference. I will always grab a MacBook Neo. Even for your kids, this will be a better experience. They can use it for class, they can use it for school. While I do believe that these iPads are very limited for that. This one will last a lot longer. They will be able to do a lot more work on it and less games. I would say that they will focus more on work, also multimedia experiences, also AI tasks, all of that. They will learn a lot. But I would say that this is a better choice than the cheapest iPad. That's just my opinion. In terms of battery life, I would say they are pretty much the same thing. They last the whole day, and that's what really matters. They charge fast, they charge via USB-C, and I think that pretty much they are the same idea applied to a different lineup. Both compromise in the right places, so they are cheap, but still really good, and especially really good value for their lineups. But which one would you buy? A MacBook Neo? A very cheap laptop from Apple, but that gives access to macOS to almost anyone? Or would you grab the cheapest iPad? This one it's an interesting one. I think that most people will want to have one of these at their homes, at least in their couch, to browse the web, watch the news, some YouTube videos, but this is not a serious device. You won't do any type of work here. Well, the MacBook Neo, I think it's a completely different story. This MacBook, I think, it's a very interesting device for work, for students, and especially for those that love to type. And their work is focused more on the web, typing, writing documents, creating simple stuff that doesn't require high CPU heavy and GPU heavy tasks. Although the 18 Pro chip here is very capable. But let me know in the comments below, which one would you pick? The MacBook Neo or the iPad 10th generation or 11th generation, whatever? Let me know of that in the comments below. Drop a like below, subscribe to the channel. Bye-bye.